If you or someone you know has diabetes, you may have built up an extra supply of test strips and lancets. That's where we come in. We'll buy the supplies that you don't need and resell them to those in need to prevent waste. Help us make diabetes management more affordable. Visit us at teststripswithaz.com.
All right, we have Peter Barrett back on the show, and a lot has certainly changed since we last spoke about a week ago, so let me do this right. Introducing one of the newest members of the UFC roster, Slippery Peter Barrett, who picked up a gritty, unanimous decision win over Sang Hoon Yu on the final Contender Series of the 2019 season on Tuesday night. Welcome to the UFC, Slippery Pete. How are you?
Oh, thank you. I'm amazing. Everything's great. I mean, everything is. It's just like I've been living on cloud nine for a while now, and it's great to finally know that Dana White's my boss.
I know as media members, we're supposed to stay grounded, stay unbiased, but truth be told, not just because you're a fellow Massachusetts native, but I couldn't help but watch that event and just be really happy for you, man. I mean, what an incredible road to get to this point. Everything that happened a couple of years ago with your family, that happened with you personally, has what you just accomplished less than 48 hours ago, has that even sunk in yet?
No, I don't think it has. I mean, yesterday was a travel day, so I didn't really get to sleep much. I mean, I'm like pretty spent right now, but I think it's going to start sinking in the next day or two, and then it'll really hit me around Monday or Tuesday when I'm itching to get back in the gym, but I can't because I got to let a couple things heal up before we start that ball.
That was a freaking dogfight, man. One of the most grimy, gritty fights of the entire season. And Sang came out guns blazing. He used his reach, used his explosiveness, and you took it all, man. You chipped away at him over the course of the fight. The momentum shifted in that second round, and that third round I thought was all yours. You got the job done. With the homework you guys did getting ready for this fight and your opponent, is that the kind of fight you expected it to be, or did anything surprise you there?
That was like worst case scenario. I was expecting a war. I knew he was going to probably come out in the first round and try to finish me right off the rip. But I mean, I have a gas tank for days. I know I can take people to deep waters and abuse them and break them there if I have to. So I was prepared for it. I was hoping I was going to, get him a little better on our feet before having to take it to the ground. But, the wrestling was a big part of the game plan.
He hit you with some big shots early on, but considering your story, everything you told me and MMA Junkie and the folks at the UFC, I mean, you've been through hell and came through on the other sides of things. So did he hurt you at all? Were you in any real danger in that fight at any point?
No, I mean, my eye might speak differently now, but it didn't look like that the night of the fight. I guess the closest place he had me to finishing me was probably in that crucifix, but he wasn't punching me hard. A lot of the punches were in the back of the head. So I never really felt like I was in a lot of danger. I knew that I was breaking him with every hit that landed, every punch, every kick was just chipping away at him, and his punches were getting lighter. But he definitely hit a lot harder than I had expected.
Have you gone back and watched the fight?
No, I plan on doing it today. Yesterday we woke up, packed up, and got on an airplane. So I haven't really had the time to just reflect and let everything run through.
One of the things I noticed right away is the difference between both of your entrances to the cage, because you came out, you were yelling, you were all excited, and then he came out like Michael Myers walking the streets of Haddonfield. It was dark and dreary, not a sound could be heard. Did you notice that when he came out? It was just like the mood changed all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, not really. I was more concerned with what was going on in the cage, but yeah, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of energy coming out of that corner. That's for sure.
You talk a lot about being a brand, being more than just a fighter, and you do that all the time. And I loved how heading into the second and third rounds, you looked across the cage and just smiled at your opponent. You were having some fun out there, were you not?
Oh, I was having a blast. Absolutely having a blast. And like that's been my biggest goal, just to make sure I'm having fun while I'm in there and really enjoying it, because there were periods where I've made my training and fighting so much like a job that I almost disliked it. Like it was like I had to do it. Like I had no other choice. But I have to remind myself at the end of the day, I choose to do this, and this is a pleasure to be able to fight people and to really focus on what I love to do and not sit behind a desk and make someone else a ton of money. So just remembering to be present and enjoy. It's been such a a lesson that took a little while longer to learn, but now I've got it down, and I just love every minute of it.
It was a great fight. It was a close fight. I had scored it for you, and you never know who's going to be sitting cage side judging these fights. So what were those moments like for you heading into Lorisenko reading that decision? Were you nervous at all?
No, I mean, when I look at the fight metrics, even if you go back to the first round, I mean, he definitely got the better of me on my feet, but I was still taking him down and controlling it by the end of the first round. So I knew in the second and the third round that, I mean, I've seen some pretty crazy decisions come out of those fights, but I would have been in severe disbelief if they didn't, if it could have gone any other way. But I was convinced I had done enough. But I mean, I hate leaving it to the judges anyways. I was a little upset that I didn't finish him, but I think that was part of the issue with my approach was I was looking for the finish versus just looking to chip away to beat him.
What was more nerve-wracking, waiting for the decision to be read or waiting for Dana White to say whether or not you made it in?
He never even explicitly said it. He was like, she had to tell me that I got the contract. Like, she was like, come get your contract. I'm like, the word contract never came out of his mouth. What's going on here, dude? I'm like, was that like a low-key burn? How are we doing this? And then she was like, no, come get your contract. So it was, I don't know. I sat in that chair a million times since I got the fight news, and I had heard Dana talk about, my alleged performance in my head, and if I was convinced I was getting a contract sitting in that seat. I just knew it on my heart and my soul.
When did you know that you got it? I mean, he was very excited about you. Obviously, like the TJ Brown decision, it was kind of an up and down thing. It seemed like when Dana first started speaking about TJ that he wasn't going to give him a contract, and then he turned out that he gave him one. So he like really changed the trajectory of everything. And then yours, it seemed like right away that you were going to get it. And then he said that the city of Boston would put out a hit on him if he didn't give you one. So
yeah. Did
you feel pretty much immediately when he first started speaking that you were getting that deal?
Yeah, I mean, again, I felt it going into there that I knew that I was walking out of there with a contract after that performance. Like there was, I mean, when I heard him say it, when I heard his end, like his little jokes about it and whatnot, I was just so excited because there's no way he was going into it that way to not give a contract. But it was just, I just knew, I had a feeling on my soul that it was happening that night. And it was just, everything just came together so perfectly. It was awesome.
As the card began, I know you're in the back getting ready for your fight, but I know a fellow New Englander and a teammate of yours, Dylan Lockhart, was getting ready to fight a former opponent in TJ Brown. Did you end up watching the fight, or did you try to distance yourself from it so you could give all your attention to your fight and your opportunity?
No, I definitely watched most of that fight. I mean, while we were warming up with the TVs in the back with the audio, so I caught most of that fight. It was a good fight. I mean, that knee to the head was kind of obviously very questionable. But I mean, Dylan's a savage. He just bit down in his mouth guard and said, no, give me a minute or two to feel better and I'm good to go. Which kind of speaks volumes on his gameness to begin with, considering the fight right after that, the kid he said he got headbutt when it was pretty clear he didn't really get headbutt, and then decided he couldn't continue, and then cost both of the kids the opportunity to get a contract. You know what I mean? So to see Dylan take that knee and then continue to fight, and then the kid after him said he get headbutt and then not fight. Dylan, even having not won, made the right impression in that opportunity. You know what I mean? And just shows those guys that he's a game opponent and that he's willing to fight no matter what. And I mean, that's what I took away. I mean, it was kind of unfortunate for him in that regard, but he still proved that he's ready to take the tough fights.
Is he in good spirits after everything that happened? I mean, obviously he wanted to get the win. He would love to join you, talking to Lorisenko, join you up on that stage. Didn't really turn out that way. How is he handling everything?
Yeah, I mean, he seems to be doing well. I saw him a few times at the hotel before we had left, and he was still smiling. So I'm pretty sure he's carrying it pretty well.
I saw the picture you took with TJ Brown after you guys got your contracts. Of course, you guys shared the cage together a couple of years ago. What was that moment like? What was that conversation like between you two?
I mean, we've just had light spirits the whole time, just joking around with each other, kind of giving each other shit and whatnot. My girlfriend's like, didn't you fight him? I'm like, yeah, but, there's only a few people that I could beat the shit out of for 15 minutes and then, not be, almost instantly best friends with them after. There's not too many people that you can say you've done that with, and be able to put any sort of like anything, behind you after having shared an experience like that. So it was all lighthearted and good laughs and just joking about everything.
Obviously, you want to make your debut October 18th. You want to fight in the Garden. You want to fight in Boston. It makes too much sense at this point to make that happen. And Dana had spoken to the media afterwards and said, if you can make the weight, he'll put you on the card. He wants to see you at 145. So I assume the answer to that is no problem, Dana, right?
Oh, of course. I mean, we still have, we got to let the dust settle. Sending the contract back over today. And then if there's a formal agreement for Boston, I'm going to sign that thing right there on the spot.
Do you have an opponent in mind for that card? Like maybe you could run it back with TJ, do that again if he'll be ready for that day. Like what do you think makes sense, or does that even matter?
It doesn't really matter. They're going to give me who they think I should fight, and we'll go from there. I mean, we could always submit a couple suggestions, but me and TJ just beat the shit out of each other. I mean, would I love to rerun it with him and get that one back? Absolutely. But would I love to fight someone else? Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's mix it up and get some new blood in there. I'd love to prepare for a new style that I've never seen before, to force me to grow my camp that way. So however it works out, I'm down to fight anybody.
I see the sort of wear and tear from the fight, but anything really of note to worry about here, or do you think you'll be able to get right back to training sooner rather than later?
They gave me a 21-day suspension, no contact, so back to strength and conditioning next week, and then light work, and then probably take a month before I start sparring again. But as long as I do everything right and I don't push it too hard too soon, I should be primed and ready to go just in time for October 18th.
So much support from the MMA community here in New England. So many people are happy for you. They all know you a lot better than I do. They've been following your career since the very beginning. What does that support mean to you, and what do you want to say to everybody that's watching this right now from the area?
Oh, it's just been mind-blowing to see all the support over the last few weeks, from sponsorships to people reaching out, saying good luck, saying congratulations. I mean, the restaurant I work at had probably 200 people in there gathered to watch the fights. And it was incredible. I mean, just mind-blowing, mind-numbing amounts of people and support. Like, I can't even begin to start chipping away at all the messages through all my social medias. I mean, I guess my story really touched a lot of people, and a lot of people have been sharing their stories with me, which is just, crazy to see. There are so many hurting people out there that aren't doing the things to get help and get better. So I'm just blessed to be able to have been someone that they could look up to see that's taken the baby steps that have led into the bigger steps to get back to a healthy road. So, from the support to the people reaching out to me whose stories are similar to mine, I mean, everything has just been an amazing amount of feedback, and I can't. It's hard to begin to describe the emotions that have come from all of this.
Talk about the 50-50 raffle thing, because I know that was discussed on the broadcast. Someone had won the raffle and gave all the money to you to get you ready for this fight. Talk about that and how that came to be and how much that meant to you.
Yeah, so at my uncle's restaurant, we do a country night every Thursday night. This has been a group that's been around for about 10 years, loosely, with the same DJ doing the same country night. And I've been here I've been working at my uncle's place for the last 2 or 3 years. So I've been able to grow a pretty good relationship with a lot of these people. And when I was out doing the media stuff around episode 6 for this weekend, they held a 50-50 raffle the Thursday that I was out of town, raised a bunch of money. The kid who won the other half of the 50-50 decided to donate that money back to help cover costs for my coaches, my camp, and all of that. So it was really cool. Everybody was trying to find a way to give back and contribute back to me, and that's the idea that they came up with, and it was pretty cool, and it was really humbling to see the amount of financial support you see from people like that, not just the emotional support.
Do you have to bartend this weekend? I know it's Labor Day weekend. Are they going to make you come in or what? Well,
thankfully, Labor Day weekend up here in my area, I'm not close enough to Cape Cod where it's crazy busy, but I definitely banged in. My leg's still pretty swollen and throbby every time I move around on it. My girlfriend was pretty adamant about getting me to stay home and get my feet up off the floor. So she's a nurse, have to listen to her in that respect. So I'm not working tonight. I got to work Friday night and Saturday night, but I got the first night off. That helps.
Well, there you go. The UFC has officially gotten slippery, ladies and gentlemen. Peter
yeah.
Barrett, the newest member of the organization. Congratulations, man. I'm really happy for you. Before we let you go, for those who missed it the last time, let the folks know where they can follow you on social media. Anything else you want to get off your chest, man? The floor is yours.
Yeah, guys, just hit me up. Instagram, it's Slippery Pete 145. Twitter, Slippery's World, and Facebook is also Slippery Pete. So check it out. I've got a ton of content over there, and let's catch up.
Thank you, Pete. Congratulations. Hopefully you get your wish, and if so, I'll see you in Boston for Fight Week.
Sounds good, bud.